Stanza 77, status of phenomena. Status of phenomena on the basis of the four mindfulnesses. So four mindfulnesses explained here is something unique from the point of view of the Mahayana Sutra. So there is same what we discussed about the body as impure, the feeling as miserable, suffering, and the mind is impermanent, and the phenomena as selfless. Okay, so there, this is one way of subsiding our negative emotions. Now, what is explained here is the body as empty object existence, feelings as empty object existence, mind as empty object existence, and the phenomena as empty object. All four as empty object existence. So, if you could remember what we did this morning, that meditation impermanence is for what? This is greatest meditation. Okay, meditation on the mindfulness is for what? This greatest meditation. Like this, everything is like greatest. Then we are not too sure. There's clarity is not there in terms of why we are doing these meditations. Tell me, we meditate on impermanence, but we speak about the four things as impure, then the suffering, then the impermanence, then the selflessness, right? And then then we speak about emptiness of the atomic substantiality, emptiness of the external reality, and so forth. And then compassion practice, generosity, bodhicitta, all these practices are there. So tell me, what is the bodhicitta practice for? What is the uniqueness of the bodhicitta practice?
To attain Buddhahood.
To attain Buddhahood, how? Exactly. This serves as a driving motivation, right? Driving motivation. The uniqueness of each of these practices we must be very clear with. Okay, why impermanence meditation is important? Why?
Urgency.
That is to build a sense of urgency. So impermanence. Impermanence, everything is so impermanent, transient, and going so fast. Fast was what? Fast was Buddhahood. Fast was going so fast was Buddhahood, or fast was speaking spot. Does give you the sense of urgency? Towards death and towards more misery, right? Okay, so suffering. When you see the suffering, meditation suffering and meditation impermanence combined together gives you an intense feeling of urgency, right? What is meditation on the samadhi? The single point meditation. Mindfulness meditation. What for? To stabilize, to give the quality of the stability to the wisdom, right? Without wisdom, just by stability is stability, right? The main purpose is for the wisdom to be stabilized. And what's meditation? The emptiness.
Switch on the light.
Huh?
To switch on the light.
Oh, to switch on the light. Yes. Okay, I'm not really smart, right? You have to tell me. What do you mean by to switch on the light? Huh?
As the final remedy.
This is the final remedy, right? This is the final remedy, the liberating part. Liberating part versus the ripening parts. All other parts are to be taken as the ripening parts, and what really liberates us, what really liberate us is the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, this is one way of understanding it. Okay, so let us go now. The first one is the mindfulness of the body, to see how the body is empty of objective existence. So there are two things. The common understanding of mindfulness of the body is what? To see the body as impure. Now the unique version of the mindfulness of the body is to see the body as empty of objective existence. Right? All the four as objective existence. Let's see. Okay, now it's pretty easy. Because arrogance misconceives the nature of the self. Arrogance here referring to the self-grasping ignorance. Arrogance here referring to the self-grasping ignorance. Because arrogance misconceives the nature of self, suffering increases. Arrogance, self-grasping ignorance, sees the self as objectively real. Because of this, our suffering increases. Suppose you say, but that cannot be undermined. That self-grasping ignorance, the arrogance in the form of self-grasping ignorance, cannot be undermined, cannot be eliminated. Well then, Okay, if I say the self-grasping, yes, self-grasping it attracts all the miseries, but the self-grasping cannot be eliminated. What is your response to my statement? Hey, you agree, not agree? What I'm saying, self-grasping ignorance, I agree that self-grasping ignorance attracts all the miseries, but you cannot do anything. Self-grasping cannot be eradicated. You will say, I disagree with you, right? Which means self-grasping ignorance can be eradicated. How? By the wisdom of emptiness. Wonderful. You are just saying exactly what said by Bodhisattva Shantideva. Okay, he said that, well then, it is best to meditate on the selflessness. Selflessness in the context of the emptiness of objective existence, right? Okay. 78. Now, the emptiness of the objective existence of the body. How the body is, the mindfulness of the body. 78. A body is neither the feet nor the calves, which we did earlier also, right? I'll continue with this. In other words, the body, what I see is a body, the human body, my body, his body, her body, this body. A body is neither the feet nor the calves, nor is the body the thighs or the hips. Neither the belly nor the back is the body, nor is the body the chest or the arms. The size of the torso and hands are not a body, nor is the body the armpits or the shoulders. The visceral organs also are not it. Neither is the body, the head, nor the neck. So, what then is the body? Right? So when you go to this object, okay, this analysis, which part is your, what you call as the body, right? When you go into this, you see the body? Yes. You go into it, then, which is something, you go into which analysis? Ultimate analysis. With this analysis, you will never find the body. The body will disappear. Whereas, when you look at the body, how do we see? The body as objectively real. If it does objectively real, then we should be able to find it through ultimate analysis. With ultimate analysis, we say that it disappears, it's empty. So this proves that what I earlier see the body as objectively real, this is deceptive, right? Ignorance. Okay, that's 80. Okay, now this would be a little clue for the, say, non-Buddhist version of the self. So they said, okay, fine. The body, although you do not find the body like a body, when you go into the parts of the body, what we call as the subjective ultimate analysis. So when you go to look for this body into the parts, you may not find it. But the body is different from these parts. The body, just as we spoke about, the self and the aggregates are different, right? This is one view accepted by some philosophers. Likewise, the body is different from the smaller parts of the body. This is one view. 80. If this body were located, if you say that such a body is there which is different from the smaller parts of the body, there's a body in the air, right? You go into the smaller parts, you must find the body, but the body is there, separate. What you look for is you are looking for amongst the parts. Amongst parts, you will not find the body. This is what opponents will say. You will find the body as separate from the parts. But within the parts, you will not find it. There's a separate body. If there is a separate body, stanza 80. If this body were located with a portion in all of these parts, that although the parts are located in its own parts, where the parts in turn located. Okay, this is where we need to be in mind. Let's say the flower, the body. So you apply this to the same to the body, right? Say the flower. Say this flower, this beautiful flower. Just one petal. It's a petal flower. It's not a flower. So the whole flower. This flower. Where's the flower? You go to the petals. You will not find it. Then the opponents say what? There's a flower. The flower is not findable in the parts. There's a flower different from the parts. Like, say for example, say if I cover this flower with my cloth, right? Where's the flower? The cloth is not the flower. Remove the cloth and there's a flower there. The cloth and the flower, these two are two different things. Likewise, the flower and the parts of the flower, they are two different things. Right? Within the parts you will not find the flower, but the flower is there as a different object. If this were the case, then Bodhisattva Shantideva is asking that, say, this flower, complete flower, so how does it exist as different? Is it different? For example, say this flower exists on my hand, but these are two different things, right? Hand and flower, these are two different things. Likewise, the flower and the parts of the flower, are these two different things? Opponent says yes. If yes, then how does the flower exist on these parts, right? Say the flower is a whole, then we say, but these parts are required for the flower to be there. Then, not only the flower requires these parts, each of these parts, for example, this petal, the first petal, this petal is also made of numerous atoms. Where is this petal? Is this petal different from the atoms or same with the atoms? Not same with the atoms. Amongst the atoms you will not find this petal. Again, you have to say the same thing, that the petal is different from the atoms which constitute the petal. Different. Again, this petal rests on the atoms. So you keep looking for this, you will never find any object which is the ultimate basis. You will never find, objectively, you will never find any object which is the ultimate basis. So therefore, whatever you catch up, again it has to be somewhere there, it is not really objective, so real. It is again on the basis of some other substance. So keep going like this, you will never find a substance existing from the object side. So therefore, this proves that this is like an illusion. Okay, if this body were located with a portion in all of these parts, say this body, the flower, this flower exists, let's say, with all these petals, it pervades in all these places, then although the parts are located, so the parts also, they also have to exist on the constituents, small constituents of the parts. So you go like this, you will never find one object to say that this is the one, final on the basis of which all the other things are stacked or all the other things exist. Then although the parts are located in its own parts, where are the parts in turn located? You keep going like this, you will never find something from the object side as solid. Number two, no, now this is not the version, this fails. Right? Now I'll go for another option, the opponent's view. Says that, okay, no, each petal has, say the flower exists on each of the parts. That is even more disaster. Because if the flower in each of the parts, then there are 10 parts, there should be 10 flowers. If there are a million parts, there should be a million flowers. 81. And if a body itself in its entirety were located everywhere in the hands and so forth, every parts, there would be as many bodies as there were hands and so forth. 82. As the body does not exist either outside or inside the parts, how will the hands and so forth possess? Now let's see. Okay, so for this 82, if we understand it with respect to the two analysis. What are the two analysis? Conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. Okay, let's say this analysis is done because the opponents are saying that the body exists objectively. And Bodhisattva Shantideva is trying to explain the mindfulness of the body, saying that the mindfulness of the body to be empty of objective existence. So the opponents say, no, that's not true. The body exists objectively. So if you believe the body to be objectively existent, then which of the analysis should be working? If the body exists objectively, then which of the two analysis should be applied?
Ultimate. The ultimate. Objective is the ultimate.
If the body exists objectively, which of the two analysis should hold true? Ultimate analysis. With the ultimate analysis, then the object should be able to withstand this. Right? Okay. Now, say this is the body. If you scan the body through the electron, the what? Ultimate analysis, then you will see the millions of atoms. Millions of atoms, right? Okay. So there, 82. So there, when you see the millions of atoms, where is this body? Which earlier said as a body, objectively a body, where is it? It is a basis empty. Stay in this experience and let's try to follow this stanza. 82. As the body does not exist either outside, so in this experience, in this ultimate analysis, do you see the body? No. Do you see the body with the parts, inside the parts or outside the parts? No. Right? as the body does not exist either outside or inside the parts, how could the hands and so forth possess body? So what is really there is what? Just the atoms are there, right? Say, just the atoms are there, and the body is not there. Body, we say that I possess my hands. Do you say this? I possess my hands. You getting it? Say, if you break the body into pieces, hands, neck, head, limbs, heart, separate them, right? So in that, where is this what you earlier saw as whole body, it disappears, right? Okay, now what you see is just the parts, the hands and so forth, right? What you see is just the parts, the whole disappeared. The body as a whole disappeared. So from this point of view, say the body as a whole is the possessor, and the parts as a possessor, and the possessed disappears. Okay, so it says 82. As a body does not exist either outside or inside of parts, how can the hands and so forth possess a body? Say, okay, is this correct? My hands possess me. I possess my body. Both are correct. My hands have me. Do I have my hands? Do my hands have me? Yes, ma'am? No?
Yes.
Okay. The pages, these pages have the book. The book has the pages? Yes. The pages of the book? No. Okay, pages belong to the book. Okay, let's say.
If you cut the hand, then the hand doesn't possess you.
That's true. Okay, let's say that my hands make sense only if there's I.
Yes.
My hand. Yes, no? Right? Okay. I make sense, I, Dorji, the human being makes sense only if I have my body parts.
So by that definition, handicapped people are not...
No. Body parts, I told you. Right? I am a very healthy, the non-handicapped person. Non-handicapped Dorji is dependent on my hands. Yes, no? Non-handicapped Dorji. Hey, I'm not talking about Dorji. Dorji, you can say he can be handicapped. Non-handicapped Dorji depends on the hands. Yes, no? My hands are also dependent on Dorji. There's mutuality of dependence. You're getting it? Mutuality of dependence is there. But to say the mutuality of dependence, there should be two things. So for example, when we say that, okay, let's say that, interesting, let's say, this wall, and the beam, right? Why do we need this beam?
To hold the structure.
Which structure?
To support this weight.
Say, if we don't have this beam, then this wall may fall on the other side, or the here side, right? Right? And how the beam is suspended in the air, not on the floor. Why on the air? Because of the two walls. Two walls are supporting the beam, and the beam is supporting the two walls. You getting it? There's a mutuality of dependence. You getting it? Likewise, saying my hands and me, these two are mutually dependent. But when I subject this self to the ultimate analysis, we don't go to the extent of the atoms, we go to the extent of just the smaller parts, like the hands and limbs, okay, the heart. So when you subject the self to this ultimate analysis, where the legs, hands, head, stomach, whatever, these parts there, where's the body? The body disappears. So, if the body disappears, then the mutuality of dependence disappears. The mutuality of dependence disappears. If the mutuality of dependence disappears, because for the mutuality of dependence there should be two things. Body and the parts of the body. The body disappears, only the parts are there. Because of this, the parts depend on the body. In that experience, no. The body, because for the parts to depend on the body, they should be body. Body disappears. And for the body to depend on the parts, body will be there, body disappears. So the mutuality of dependence disappears. Okay, 82. As the body does not exist either outside or inside the parts, how can the hands and so forth possess a body? Possess meaning it depends on the body. It depends on the body. As it does not exist separately from the hands and so on, how could it possibly be truly so? And say the body disappears. Then maybe the body is different from these hands. Remove the hands and so forth. Nothing is there, right? So it is not one with the hands and so forth, no different from the hands and so forth. Okay. As it does not exist separately from the hands and so on, how will it possibly be truly existent? Okay, what I would suggest is that if you can revisit the recordings again, it becomes very clear. So meanwhile, we have to keep growing in our thinking, in this analytical analysis. Okay, 83. Thus the body is not truly existent. So therefore, what you see is that the body does not exist objectively. From this we see that when you subject the body to the ultimate analysis, the body disappears. Thus the body is not truly existent. But because of the ignorance, if it does not exist from the object, then when you look at the person from the distance, again you see the body there. The hands, all these things there, with the hands and so forth, you see as a body. So how does the body appear to that person then? It's not really from the object, it's what your mind is creating it. It is like watching a movie in a movie theater. The movie you're watching on the screen, you are seeing the movie on the screen, but actually it's not coming from the screen, it's coming from the projector behind you. Likewise, you see as a body there, actually it's not really coming from the object there, it's like the projector like your mind, which projects on the basis of the aggregates, on the basis of the hand, limbs and all these parts, then the mind projects. Right? This is how we see it. But when we see that, we see it as objectively real. This is out of ignorance. The mind perceiving self, okay, 83. Thus the body is not truly existent, but because of ignorance, the mind perceiving a self in hands and so forth arises. Like the mind perceiving a man in an effigy, because the effigy is molded in the shape of a man, right? Effigy is not a man. You just mold it in the shape of the man. From distance, you there's a man there. Okay. 84. For as long as the conditions are assembled, the body of the effigy is seen as a man. For example, say the effigy is made there, as long as the conditions for the effigy to resemble the human being, to resemble a man. These conditions are there, you keep seeing the effigy like a human being. Likewise, as long as the conditions are there, like your body parts are there, you will keep seeing as a body. 84. For as long as the conditions are assembled, the body of the effigy is seen as a man. Likewise, for as long as there are hands and so on, they are seen as a body by the ignorance. 85. Similarly, because of its being a composite of fingers, okay, now the body is made of, the body is what is really there. If there's something there, what is that? When you go closer to the object, the body disappears. What is seen? Hands and so forth. Even the hands and so forth, again you subject to the ultimate analysis, you see that this hand is nothing but made of the joints, made of the fingers. And fingers are the hand, right? Okay. So it gives up. So with the fingers, the hand disappears. Now the finger is seen. A finger also, finger disappears. Your joints are seen. The joint disappears. What is left? Cells. Cells disappears. What is left? Molecules. Molecules disappears. What is that? Atom. Keep going like this, it will go ad infinitum. You will nothing find as something as objectively real there. Right? Okay. So this analysis is done in great detail here. 85. Similarly, because of being composed of the fingers, now the hand is made of the fingers. Fingers, where is the hand? The same analysis can be applied to the finger because of its being composed of the joints. And to a joint as well, will break down into its smaller parts, like what? Cells. 86. And to a part, the small part as well, to bring it down into particles. And to that particle as well, because of direction, even this particle, tiniest, very tiny particle, it has directional paths. Directional paths meaning east, west, north, south, right? And to the particle as well because of directional conditions. And to the directional paths also because of lacking intrinsic paths, like space, the particles do not truly exist. Even the particles also do not truly exist. What is really there from the object, you cannot find anything. So in a way, you realize I thought that there's something there from the object. Nothing's really there. Okay, so in the meditation of emptiness, this would, say, first you can do it like this. Meditate the emptiness of the flower. Then the flower, you can, through this, you subject the flower to ultimate analysis. Then you can see the cells, you can see the emptiness of the cell. Then you can see the emptiness of the chromosomes. Then you can see the emptiness of the atoms. Chromosomes made of the molecules and atoms. Okay, with the same object, you get the opportunity to meditate the emptiness on 4 levels. Emptiness of the flower, emptiness of the cells. No, what I usually do is emptiness of the flower, emptiness of the chromosome, emptiness of the cells. I go for 3 levels. 3, right? 3. So as you say the same object, emptiness of the flower is fine. So the flower is a big object with respect to the atoms. It's a big object. Then you go to emptiness of the chromosomes. So first you go to the cells, then the chromosomes, emptiness of the chromosomes. It's much smaller. Even the flower is made of the chromosomes. The chromosome is also dreamlike. It's also illusion-like. Then you go into the atoms. Even the atom is also like a dream, right? Okay. With this, sometimes what I do is the flower, the chromosomes, atoms, and electrons. The 4th, right? Okay, you can go beyond that. But for example, even this much is so good. Do that. So what is happening is with the same object, you meditate on emptiness, subtler, emptiness of the subtler parts. You get it? Okay. So then you make the conclusion from Mula Madhyamika Karika, which says that since there is no phenomena which is not dependent or originated, therefore there is no phenomena which is not empty. Right? These 2 lines from Arya Nagarjuna's text. Now I've gone to the 4 levels. 4 levels I do not see objective existence. Now there's no point. However much you may go, everything's dependent or originated. Therefore there's nothing which is objectively real. Okay, this will come to you. 1. So what Bodhisattva Shantideva did here, broken the self broken into the body and the mind, body broken into the hands and so forth, hand broken into the fingers and so forth, finger broken into the joints and so forth, joints broken into the particles, and particles broken into the subtle particles, right? So this is how Bodhisattva Shantideva went. Okay. Okay, 86 again, and to a part as well, to breaking it down into particles, and to that particle as well because of directional divisions, and to directional parts also because of lacking intrinsic parts, like space, the particles do not truly exist. So there's nothing really existing truly. 87. Therefore, what wise person would attached to a bodily form that is like a dream. So the attachment to the dreamlike body is established. So when you see that it is really like a, it is really like a dream. Nothing's really there. Okay, this is so important. Okay. Try to get a glimpse of emptiness. If possible, try to get a stable experience of this glimpse of the emptiness of the body.
How can we know if we have had a glimpse of it?
Okay, good. Good question. Okay. Keep it for 1 minute, right? Okay, I'll answer this. What was I saying? Okay, first you have a glimpse of this is so precious, right? And then once this glimpse is little stabilized, then you observe how your mind reacts. This is beautiful. How your mind reacts is beautiful. The mind, like 99.9% of your mind, right? If you let go of this mind in its natural course, if you let this mind behave in its natural way, You see a beautiful flower, automatically feel attached to this. If you undesirable thing, automatically it pushes back. It runs away, right? This is how the mind behaves. So this is how the mind behaves. Then you say meditate emptiness of the flower, your mind behaves sucked in or moves involuntary pull, attachment happens. And then try and meditate on emptiness of the flower. Then you see that this movement to the flower stops, instantly stops. You could feel it, right? Instantly stops. You don't have to force, no, detach yourself. You don't have to say this. This is beautiful, right? Otherwise, if you don't see emptiness, you have to tell yourself, hey, detach yourself. Otherwise, this will give rise to attachment. With attachment, then will give rise to aversion. Then you will be very unhappy, painful, karma, miseries. You have to force yourself. Whereas this with the wisdom of emptiness, right? Same, just see the object and see how your mind behaves. Mind automatically flows towards the desirable object. Okay, stay there, it's fine. Don't say no, right? Okay, let it flow, it's fine. Then subject this object to the ultimate analysis and then see how the mind reacts, right? Then you see the object disappears. Object disappears, right? Object disappears and see how the mind reacts. Instantly the mind stops. Earlier, when getting sucked, it stops. There's nothing there for me to go towards. It stops automatically. You don't have to force yourself. You don't have to do anything. Automatically stops. It's amazing. Now what happens? You have a very good break. Right? Your mind moves and there's a break there. Usually we have to, right, stop the car like this. You have no break. You have to stop the hey, no, car should not move. Right? Now you have a very strong break. Automatically stops. Automatically stops. Right? Stops. Amazing. And then you get a conviction that if I stabilize in this experience, if this experience is what I can stabilize, there's a total control happening. That my mind, no matter what object I encounter with, my mind will never flow towards this. Involuntary pull will be stopped. Right? Okay, this is so precious.
Then you won't like flowers and you won't like nice clothes and everything.
Okay, so the point is, okay, what is important is for the time being, okay, say you like it, not like it, okay, this is good, right? This is good. Okay, anyway, so this point, what I would say is, I'll give it to you. Get a glimpse of this and you report this to me. Whether your liking stops or whether liking continues. The next question. Rahim's question, what's the question?
How can we know if we've had a glimpse of it?
Okay. How do we know? With the same analysis, we go to the same steps, for the same steps of meditation. How do we know that we get a glimpse? So this is a good question. Okay. If you get a tinge of fear coming in you, like this, like a tinge of fear comes to you, what? And goosebumps come on you too, right? And then a very serene experience comes to you, which you have never experienced before. A very serene, very tranquil experience comes to you. These are the indications that you are getting closer, you're getting towards, not necessarily real emptiness, but getting towards it. This is 100%. Right? Okay, this is very important. These indications are there. Okay, yes.
How will you apply this meditation? How will you formulate this meditation? Not for a physical object, but to an affliction like, say, anger.
Okay, anger, okay, let's say, anger towards what? Towards another person.
Yes,
Right? Towards another person. Okay, right? You go to your room, because we're beginners. You say, I meet with a person who's very, say, the irritating, right? And then, oh, let me wait, I'm meditating on emptiness. It's not possible for us. We're very beginner. The moment we see the person, anger automatically arises. So the best thing is, don't dread. First step, don't dread. Don't lose self-confidence. Don't lose self-confidence. Remain very confident, but don't react. Right? Even if anger arises, it's fine. Don't react. Physically and verbally, don't react. Stop that. But don't lose confidence. With this, go to your room. Close the door. Sit down. Do a little bit of breathing meditation. That anger will subside. Because when anger is in its heated form, self-grasping ignorance is so solid. When the self-grasping ignorance is so solid, the wisdom of emptiness is so weak with us. Wisdom of emptiness cannot come. If there is whole tin of black paint, you bring a dot of the white paint in it, it will become black. So the wisdom of emptiness will not work. So what you do is that first, anger should subside. Anger should subside. As the anger subsides, with the help of breathing meditation and so forth, right? Breathing meditation, anger subsides. Then the self-grasping ignorance, it loses its intensity temporarily. Right? When it loses intensity temporarily, then you subject the person. Remember this person. Because seeing the person and creating the image of the person, seeing the person, anger is more rigorous. Seeing the picture of the person, because it is, you know that it's mind is creating it, so you will not really be angry. Right? You create the picture of the person, and then subject the person to after analysis. The person is made of atoms and the mind, 6 elements. Of the 6 elements, except for the mind, all others except the mind and the space. Space is empty. This is not bodily. This is not the anger you, right? This is not make you angry. Space will not make you angry. Others are atoms, space, or the mind. Space will not make you angry, and atoms will not make you angry. Atoms are neutral, right? If you pick any atom from that person, angry person, short-tempered person, this look at it, it will not make you angry. Right? Now what is the thing? The mind. Right? So that person, for example, say, that person is a girl. Right? That girl was jealous of me. Right? Or I am jealous of this girl. For the boys, I'm jealous of that boy. That boy is jealous of me. Right? Okay. And what is this girl? If it's a boy, he will not be jealous of you. Boy will be jealous of another boy, not with you. Right? So that girl is jealous of me. Being a girl. Where is this girl? Right? The mind is not a girl. The body. And the body is just made of millions of atoms. None of the atoms is a girl. Yes, no? And we just see the bunch of atoms as a girl. That's it. Girl's body. That's it. That makes a girl. Otherwise, in reality, when you really go there, it's just made of a bunch of atoms. None of the atoms is a girl. And this is a fact. But our mind creates the illusion of a bunch of atoms as a girl, a bunch of atoms as a boy. Right? You go there, because that person is a girl, that reason dismantles. And then early agitation, irritation instantly disappears. Your mind will find incredible tranquility. Instantly you get incredible tranquility. The moment this sense of the girlness disappears. One. And you have to meditate on the emptiness of the mind also. Right? For the emptiness of the mind, that's a separate meditation because we don't have time. I couldn't do it. But did we do it last time? Last time, doing the Mahamudra practice?
Yes,
Did we do the
shortly, half an hour. We did the first part of Mahamudra for 3 days.
3 days?
3 days, and the last part for half.
emptiness of the mind, just half an hour. Wow. Okay.
That's what I remember, Geshela.
Okay, so the point is that there's a meditation on how to see the emptiness of the mind. Right? Okay. So with this, then you see that body disappears, the mind disappears. Then where's the person who imitated me? It disappears. Instantly you feel the tranquility within you, and say the agitation, boiling state within you, you literally, you will see that it's so tranquil, which we have never experienced before. Right? This is so precious. Okay. Which stanza are we doing now?
87.
87. Okay. 87. Therefore, what wise person would be attached to the bodily form that is like a dream? And since the body does not truly exist that way, then what is male and what is female? Right? What really is there is just atoms, that's it. And none of the atom is a boy, none of the atom is a girl. Right? Okay. Just see if you can get this. If you can get this part. Wow, I'm seeing the girl. This is just my illusion. I'm seeing the boy. It's just my illusion. Just a bunch of atoms. None of the atoms boy, none of the atoms girl. But I'm seeing something. It's just my perception. Right? If that comes to you, right? Not just intellectually. Right? Your mind, for a girl, the mind going towards a boy, right? It stops. For a boy, mind going towards a girl, it stops, right? Without you forcing, stop. It often stops, right? This is somewhere you are going getting closer to seeing the emptiness, getting closer, right? This is so important. It may take time. Just continue this journey, and it will happen, right?
So, Geshela, will it be useful to actually meditate on things that are, on the emptiness of things that you are particularly attached to or particularly against?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. Is that useful for us to relate our meditation more precisely or more with those objects which can easily trigger attachment, which can trigger aversion, the emotions, the intense emotions? That is a very good question. So what I would suggest is that there's no hard and fast rule, but the purpose is, this is the purpose, right? The involuntary pull and push should be stopped. Involuntary pull and push happens mainly with the desirable objects and undesirable objects which trigger attachment and aversion. This is main goal. Now what would be helpful is that what triggers the attachment so forth, the intense emotions. At the moment you think about this, already the mind is stirred. When the mind is stirred, what stirs the mind? Objectively existing things. So the, say, objectification of the ignorance of objectifying the object is also become very strong, right? So there, even if you manage emptiness, it will not come. It may not come. It will not come. So first, what you do with the neutral object. A flower. A flower is fine, right? Flower is fine. Okay. Okay, this flower is beautiful, right? If possible, please give it to me. But even if you don't give it to me, but in 2 days you do with her, I don't care, right? Okay. So that way, this is less intense. You can meditate in terms of the say the flower or something more neutral. And then once you get something, then the momentum of the wisdom of emptiness is built. With this momentum, then you can apply to the desirable objects and the undesirable objects, which can trigger emotions more intensely. There will be, okay, so there will be many ways. Yeah. Okay. Now the next one is the synthesis of phenomena in relation to the close placement of the mindfulness of feeling. Mindfulness of feeling now. Now how the feelings are empty of objective existence. Okay. So basically what I would say is that, okay, how the Shantideva tackles this matter, how to see the emptiness of feeling. We can study, we can practice this, right? And feelings, on one hand, what I would say is that the meditation on the emptiness of feeling can be done very effectively by the very generic meditation on the emptiness of mind. Because the feeling is a part of mind. If you know how to meditate on the emptiness of mind, you can apply this to feeling also. Right? Okay. 89. Suppose you answer, no. 88. If suffering was absolute by nature, Why does it not undermine experience of extreme joy? Okay. If I am going through a, say, feeling low and feeling suffering, if I'm suffering, if suffering was absolute by nature, if this suffering that I have is absolute or objectively real, why does it not undermine our experience of extreme joy? So this suffering should be, if it exists objectively, it should be independently real. If it is independently real, no other factors can affect it. No other factors can affect it. Whereas when I'm feeling low, if somebody comes to console me and take me to say whatever I like, to say the fresh air, garden, whatever, then my, say, the sadness will go down and happiness will slowly come up. Which means that this feeling of sadness, feeling of misery can be affected by external factors, right? It says, why does it not undermine our experience of extreme joy? Say, we have extreme joy, and then say the why does it not undermine our experience? Say you have an experience of extreme joy, and suddenly somebody brings up very bad news to you, and then this extreme joy will disappear, will be replaced by the sadness, right? So if this feeling, either the sadness or the feeling of joy, if the feeling of joy, if that's intrinsic, if that exists objectively and independently, no factor should be able to replace this. So the feeling of the sadness should not be able to replace this feeling of the joy. But it does happen. Why does it not undermine our experience of extreme joy? Right? Say, if you have the feeling of sadness, if you're feeling sadness, right? Sadness, then somebody says, hey, you have you have received the Padma Bhushan, right? You're the, wow, right? Then this feeling of sadness disappears. If this feeling of sadness is objectively real, then nothing should be able to affect it. No matter what happens, right, it should remain with me. But it doesn't remain. The moment the intense happiness comes, the sadness disappears. It can be affected. And if happiness exists intrinsically, why does a good taste and so forth not delight someone tormented by grief and the like? Say, if happiness, how do you get happiness? When you say on a birthday, if a cheesecake comes to you, it gives you happiness. Or a chocolate comes to you, you become very happy. So chocolate, this gives you happiness. If this happiness is intrinsically real, right? Intrinsically real, then when someone is deeply into pain, you give the chocolate and the pain should disappear. It is not necessary. You give the chocolate, take away the chocolate. Right? Okay. So therefore, the happiness that the chocolate gives, it is not intrinsically real. It can be affected by other factors. Right? Likewise, the pain is also not intrinsically real because that can be affected by the feeling of happiness. Okay. Why does a good taste and so forth not delight someone tormented by the grief and the like? Okay. 89. Suppose you answer, it is not experienced because it is overridden by something more intense. Right? So for example, say you are going through, say, sadness. And then, so usually when you eat the chocolate, you are so happy, right? And then today you eat the chocolate, still it doesn't give that happiness. Still the pain is so much there. So much there, right? So why it is not happening? Because eating the chocolate, happiness is not coming because the more intense feeling has outshone the feeling of the happiness. Okay. 89. Suppose you answer, it is not experienced because it is overridden by something more intense. Feeling of pain that is more intense than the feeling of the joy that you get out of eating the chocolate. So therefore, feeling of pain overrides the feeling of chocolate. So therefore, it is not experienced. Actually, this is there. If this is what we say. Well, how can something not in the nature of an experience still be categorized as a feeling? Meaning that, let's say, I'm going through pain, and usually when I eat the chocolate, I feel so happy. I thank you for giving me the chocolate. Now I'm feeling very painful. Say, for example, I feel the pain of having heard the loss of my mother. Right? It is so acute. This pain cannot be removed by just eating one chocolate. You eat a chocolate, but the pain is still there. You will not feel the chocolate at all. You will not feel the joy of eating the chocolate. It's just for stuffing my body, just to get energy, that's it. Right? Okay. Sometimes, in fact, I do that. How? Say, immediately before the teaching, I have the blood sugar problem. Immediately before the teaching, I stuff myself. Right? I don't feel any taste of the food. It should go in, right? The biscuit or whatever, I have to eat something, right? And then do something solid there, I have to eat it. Without eating it, then I have the sugar problem. So therefore, eating it, I don't eat the taste anything. You don't believe it. I should have some water there, and then the biscuit, chocolate, whatever, then with the water, let it go in. Right? This is what I do. So this is not what the Professor Shantideva said, just for the sake of the fun. It's actually what people do. So when you go through an acute pain of having lost the mother to whom you love so much, and then usually what triggers happiness by eating the chocolate, then what happens? Happiness is there or not? Hey?
Yes.
No. You have acute pain of having lost a mother just now. And you eat a chocolate, you don't have the happiness. Now the opponent is saying that, yes, you have the happiness. Because you ate the chocolate, eating chocolate, happiness is ignorance. Happiness is there. Why don't you feel the happiness? Because of the acute pain. Two things are there. One is acute, right? For example, say a very tiny light, somewhere far away, in the daylight, bright daylight, right? Do you see that light? Small light? You don't see that light, right? And that small light is absent? It's not existent? It's there. Why don't you see that? Because this is outshone by the sunlight. Likewise, the opponent is saying the same thing. You have intense pain of having lost a mother. When you eat the chocolate, you have happiness. That happiness is less intense, and the pain is so intense that the pain overrides the happiness. It is there. Both are there. Wow, good example. Wow. So Bodhisattva Shantideva said, if you don't feel it, this is not feeling. Do you feel happiness? You don't feel it. If you don't feel it, it is not feeling. Right? So therefore, if it is not a feeling, then where is the feeling of the happiness? So it says that, okay, it says, well, how can something not in the nature of an experience, you don't experience it, you don't feel it, experience it, still be categorized as a feeling of the pleasant, right? It's not a feeling. So therefore the feeling is not independently real. 90. Suppose you reply, could it not still be suffering in a subtle state after its gross level has been displaced? Okay, let's say that there's intense pain, and then you eat a chocolate. Opponents say that okay, let's say say you eat a chocolate, there's happiness. First you eat the chocolate without the pain. You eat the chocolate, there's happiness. And then after, say, while in the middle of eating the chocolate, in the middle of enjoying the chocolate, you hear the news that I lost my mother. What happens to the pain, happiness? From our point of view, it will disappear. Then the intense pain will come to you. Right? Okay. So now the opponents are saying that happiness is still there. But the happiness is of two kinds. Very intense and the subtle one. Intense one is gone. But the subtle one is still there. Right? Subtle one is there. Subtle happiness is there. That the intense one is gone. Subtle one is there. So the gross pain and the subtle happiness both are together. This is what the opponents are saying. Okay, let's see. 19. Suppose you could it not still be suffering in a subtle state after its gross level has been displaced? Well then, you could also say that other than that extreme joy, it was a slight level of joy, and then observing its subtle state will be one of that joy too. Okay, let me, directly in relation to what's said here, let me explain this, right? Let me give an example. let's say that, okay, let's say somebody says, hey, why are you wasting your time, right? Chapter 9 is not easy chapter, it's very difficult time. Usually it takes whole 2 months, and you are trying to study it in 3.5 days. Impossible, you are wasting your time, right? And then you feel a little sad, right? You feel a little sad. And then the person comes and says that, right? Okay, you have won a lottery, right? Lottery for 1 crore rupees. Are you still sad or you're very happy?
Very happy.
You're very happy, right? Earlier you have the sadness. Now this happiness overrides the sadness. You getting it? It overrides the sadness. So what the opponent is saying, the sadness is of 2 levels. What are they? Intense suffering and the intense sadness and the intense pain and the subtle pain. So with this very intense happiness coming, that overrides the pain. Which pain? The gross pain. The more intense pain is gone. Now which pain is left? Subtle pain is left. So now what are 2 things there within you? Intense happiness and the subtle pain. You're getting it? Okay, let's see. That will be easier for you. 19. Suppose you reply, could it not still be suffering in a subtle state? Right? The gross suffering, the pain, you are wasting your time, you feel sad. And then you hear the news that you win the lottery. You are so happy. This happiness overrides the gross pain. So what pain is left? Subtle pain is left. Could it not still be suffering in a subtle state? When you have the greater happiness and the gross suffering gone, but the subtle suffering is not left there? This question asked. In a way they are saying, opponents are saying what? The gross happiness and the subtle pain, these 2 are together. Right? Okay. After its gross level, which gross level? Gross pain has been displaced. Well, then you could also say that other than that, extreme joy, it was a slight extreme joy. It referred to the subtle pain, right? This subtle pain, what you call the subtle pain left, you can say that the subtle pain is a subtle happiness. Because what you experience is only happiness. If there is a subtle, whether it's a subtle experience or a gross experience, what you experience is happiness. So the subtle or gross, it should be happiness. So if you call this subtle pain is that subtle pain should be the subtle happiness. Because what you don't experience subtle pain. You don't experience pain at all. Right? So therefore the one you call as subtle pain should be happiness. Extreme joy, it referring to the subtle pain. It was a slight level of joy. The subtle pain should be seen as the subtle happiness, joy. And then absurdly, a subtle state would be one of that joy too, meaning subtle state of the pain should be joy. You have to say that because you are not experiencing pain at all. So if you experience anything, it should be joy. So the subtle pain you experience, if that's feeling, you're feeling the joy. Okay, this is a contradiction. 91. Suppose you say, but with the arising of discordant conditions, there is no arising of suffering. Now what they say? They say, for example, say you're going through pain. You're going through, somebody says something bad to you. And then your friend takes you to a good restaurant. And you eat something good food. But with the arising of discordant conditions, with respect to the pain, what is the discordant condition? Huh? Joyous factors which create joy. For example, eating food, right? And for some people, eating food is a great thing. Getting good food is a great thing. So getting good food. Say when you are going through pain, and somebody takes you to a good restaurant, and then create discordant factors for the pain, like eating food, good food. There is no arising of suffering. Then the suffering subsides, right? Subsides. Okay. The children, what do the parents, they do something, right? When the children, they cry, the parents, they give the word. Like this, right? Then what the child does do? Instantly distracted. distracted, then the cry stops. Okay.
Bless the Quran. The grid is.
Like the voltage is less or something.
Okay.
This must be an inverter.
Inverter.
Okay. You will continue now. We will continue. Is it fine?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the recording.
No, it can record relatively softer.
It's coming back. The inverter is coming.
The speaker is also charged, right?
Yes, but
So you can pull the mains so that it runs on the charge. Because
No,
maybe
but-
the voltage is.
That nice one.
but the mic won't work.
Oh, it needs power.
Yeah, the mic, the receiver.
There's no
needs
mic
power.
to this camera.
There is
It just fell from somewhere.
some.
It's here.
The camera also has it, but
Yeah.
it's not so strong.
Yeah.
Continue.
Now.
Continue, Geshe.
Q&A.
Okay.
Do the meditation.
Oh, that's good idea.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good idea. Yeah. So for that, 2 people should be there for the meditation. Both are there.
Yeah.
One,
Both
two.
of them.
Yeah, both of them. Okay. Yes.